What's crack-a-lackin, dudes and dudettes? It's Ness, and I've got kind of a special new video for you today. We're going to be talking about the Commander Collection Black. That is coming out here on Friday, January 28th, 2022. So remember to like, share, and subscribe. Do the thing, and I will be very, very, very grateful. Let's jump right into the Commander Collection Black. This is the second release in this series of cards. It's pretty neat because they did Commander Collection Green way back, probably almost 2 years ago now. So it's weird that we have a product like this that has more or less stayed, relevant, and took this long for them to come out with it. So let's just take a quick look, show off the different cards in here. Obviously all brand new arts. We've got the Ghoul Color Gisa, Ophiomancer, Phyrexian Arena, Reanimate, Toxic Deluge, and then what they did last time was they also did Soul Ring and Command Tower, so those are in here again too. Definitely Commander staples, but these are pretty much in every product, and they're so cheap now that it's interesting that they include them. Then we also have Liliana Heretical Healer, and that is one of the flip planeswalkers, which again, yay for new art. Love me some Lily. And then we also have the Snake/Zombie token, which is a new add since the last one. There's no tokens in Commander Collection Green. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at Commander Collection Green. This product was originally released back on December 4th of 2020. This was a very interesting product because when it first came out, it had a much lower MSRP than what everyone sold it for. So I think it came out at about $40 for the regular version, and I think it was, I want to say it was like $80 for the foil version, which I guess is like kind of like the premium. And so what really drove this product was the fact that there was amazing cards in it. There was Sylvan Library, Worldly Tutor, and then everything else was just pretty playable from the Green collection there. Again, all new arts, and it really, the Sylvan Library and the Worldly Tutor really drove the sale of this product, in my opinion. But because of the fact that they had such high dollar cards in it, everyone was selling them for like double. I think the cheapest place I could find them that wasn't, fulfilling them at MSRP was online was like $70 for a regular edition when it first came out, which was pretty crazy. And you can see here, just looking at today's current values on these, we've got a total here of $110.56 for all of the cards for the regular edition, and about $225 for the premium edition. And then if you take out the Soul Ring and Command Tower, because I feel like those are kind of specialty versions of them, I don't know if they don't really, in my opinion, they're nice to have, but I don't think they drive the value of this particular product. I also kind of broke down the value on that, so you're looking at about $98 and about $177, and which is pretty in line with if you buy them complete on TCG Player. I think the market values that I was seeing for that day were $95 and $185. But what does this mean for our Commander Collection Black? We have 6 new cards, plus the Soul Ring, plus the Command Tower, plus a token. So they did increase this collection by 1 card with the token. I don't really feel like tokens are should really weigh into the value of things much. They're nice to have, but they're not necessary. The valuation breaks down each individual card, in my opinion, for what the cheapest market non-foil and market foil is. I do have to mention that the market foils that are red on this They're red because they are literally just a copy of the cheapest price, because they either don't have a foil, or I felt like the snake token was kind of negligible. The Ghoul Collar Gisa doesn't have a foil previously because it was never printed in foil. It was printed in Commander 2014 and Jumpstart, and the Ophiomancer was only printed in Commander 2013. You can't really evaluate a price on those cards. I think they deserve at least that value. So one more note, the Sol Ring and the Command Tower are actually using the data from the Commander Collection Green valuation, because although it's a couple years late, I think that this is kind of a better representation of what these cards are going to look like and do in the future. It is obviously our closest representation of this specific product and what these arts will do, but I also wanted to kind of leave them out of the calculation to give you guys a proper evaluation of what I think these cards would actually cost right now before this gets released. So you can see here that without the Sol Ring and the Command Tower and the token, we're looking at about $105 in value for the non-foils and $140 for the premiums. And again, it should be a little bit higher because of the fact that we don't really know what a Ghoul Collar Gisa and an Ophiomancer would actually cost if they were in foil. And then if we break it down for what the current projected value is on MTG Player for them, it's about $78, which again kind of falls in line with what we were expecting last time when the product released and was being sold for about $70. So I do think that things are a little inflated, because they always are before release. But when this does finally release, obviously these prices will go down, things will drop for a while. So it may be a good time to pick up singles if you only want a few of these. However, I really like the whole collection because I think it's kind of nice to get some of these cards that you may not already have. One big bummer right now is the fact that Wizards has gone away from NMSRP. So as far as what this should actually cost in store, I have no idea. That's obviously a problem, if you ask me. I think it's definitely causing a little bit of frustration, but let's compare this to a Secret Lair. But this falls into that category, and these are all custom special arts. Should be expecting it probably around that $40 range. Now, the premium edition, I assume that they're going to jack the price up on that, just like they did with Commander Collection Green. I don't know, why it costs any more to foil anything when we have Secret Lairs to compare to. But so let's assume it's going to be more expensive for the foils, and let's hope that the quality of the foiling is better and that the cards stay flat. So the first problem I kind of have with the Sol Ring and the Command Tower, as I see it, these are some of the absolute Commander staples, and I agree that they are in every deck and it's nice, but I'm not going to run a Command Tower if I'm running a monocolored Commander. That's just it's just allowing your it's nice to have, I guess, if for some weird reason you have to try and make a different color of mana, but you can't. So it mostly just opens up the ability for your opponents to target you. So this doesn't really mean much in regard to that. Also, when you look at it, we should maybe think about what should be actually replacing these as things that would be beneficial to the Commander community. I think that this particular slot, although it's nice to have these new custom arts that you're like, oh, it's the black one, or oh, it's the green one. It's nice, but it's so flashy that I kind of wish they would just expand in this product. Yeah, keep them because now you've already started this. But I can tell you right now that I would rather have a land that's specific to the color to be able to help out with me making those decks for something I don't already have, or something that is color specific and helpful. One particular thing that kind of comes to mind for me that I think would be really great is if we had the medallions. I really like, the different colored medallions, and they haven't been printed in so long that they're starting to get up there in price and could really use a reprint. And then since this is already basically a premium product, why not give us some of the more premium cards that you guys haven't reprinted in a while. They definitely had time to tool this and make it better, in my opinion, since the first one. I mean, they had 2 years. So it's not like this was something that had, that had like a next quarter release or something like that. So I think that could definitely be an area where we see improvement. Next, I kind of wanted to look at the values of these cards. When we start looking at these cards, I don't see any of these cards really being a heavy hitter the same way that Sylvan Library was. Like, Sylvan Library, when it came out in Commander Collection Green, was so brutal and so much of it sells this product that you felt like you had to buy it just to be able to make sure that you had one for your collection. And I don't feel like there's anything in this that's particularly like that. Like, even with what I would consider the best card in this, which is the Toxic Deluge, it's been printed so many times that it's going to come around again. Where's the stuff that I think the people want for their commander decks to be able to help them run? I can think of a number of amazing cards that I would love to have seen in this particular collection. Like, I definitely am going to give props, though, that the Ghoul Collar Gisa and the Ophiomancer are in here, because I think those are great additions. I'm really happy to see those. But I think that they could have done better with the Lily. I like this Lily. I think she's very playable. I think she's a good card. But with all of the flip cards, you're kind of having to do extra work. And there's other better Lilies out there. I think the Liliana of the Dark Realms would have been a fantastic addition. It helps boost that mana that you definitely want in black decks. You also have Liliana Vess, which would have been huge for helping with Modern as well. But it might have been too expensive and might have driven the price up. So it's kind of I think it's a balancing act here when it comes to the Planeswalker selection. So glad to see a Lily, though. Definitely would have chosen her over any of the other black Planeswalkers. Another couple of things that I think would have been kind of nice in here would have been to include some sort of either an Entomb or a Demonic Tutor or a Grave Pact, something along those lines. One of those major cards that we really do want for all of our commander decks when we play black. Depending on kind of what direction we're going in, those could be really specific to their different type of commander, but they're also getting up there in price. They're definitely something that we want to see more of. I'm always happy to see Demonic Tutor get reprinted. So glad it got reprinted in Strixhaven, but it got reprinted at Mythic, and that just doesn't get enough of them out there for people to be able to play with that card. And then on top of that, we've got the last kind of slot, like the last kind of recommendation I would have for having included in this particular product that I think would have been amazing. Would have been something that was also commander centric. Having Deadly Rollick reprinted would have been great. That card is getting so expensive that I gotta say it would be really nice to really include that card in a reprint somehow. And maybe we'll see it in Commander Legends 2. I can only hope, but that's probably a little ways away right now. So here's to hoping, fingers crossed. Gotta say, I'm really loving this product, even though it doesn't have a card that's, forcing me to buy it like I feel like Sylvan Library did. I think they did a very good job of balancing this and giving us good cards that are playable. So to wrap up, I think the best way to really put this is this is an awesome product. I really like it. I'm really excited, and I hope you all are too. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to do the thing, and I'll see you in the next Magic the Gathering video. Bye.
NES.